Chosen one, your destiny has been sealed, and God has spoken directly to your heart. There's no question about it. Your path has been set, and everything in your life is aligning with this divine purpose. It's time to recognize the signs that God is guiding you forward. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You may have felt it for a while now. This undeniable pull, this knowing deep within your soul that you were meant for something greater. If you've been wondering if it's real, let me assure you, your destiny is sealed and God has a plan for you. In this video, I'll share with you the divine message that has been unfolding in your life. You've been chosen for something powerful, something meaningful. But now, it's time to understand just what that means. Are you ready to hear God's voice clearly? Are you ready to step into your destiny with confidence? Trust me, what I'm about to reveal is going to resonate deep within you. If you feel it, comment 77 below. I'm here to guide you through these revelations. Stay with me, because your life is about to change forever. The signs are here, and they are undeniable. The meaning of a sealed destiny. What does it mean when your destiny is sealed by God? To understand the full weight of this statement, we must first step away from the idea of randomness or coincidence in life. Life is not just a series of events that happen by chance. Every person you've met, every road you've walked, and every challenge you've faced has been part of a much larger, divine design. God's hand has been upon you, guiding you in ways you may not always fully comprehend. But know this, your destiny is sealed. It is not a suggestion or a possibility. It is a certainty, and it is already unfolding in ways you cannot yet fully grasp. There may have been moments when you felt lost, unsure of where your life was headed. You may have wondered if you were making the right decisions, or if the path you were walking was truly meant for you. Perhaps you faced deep struggles, moments of intense doubt, or felt as if you were moving through life in a fog, unsure of your direction. Yet, even in those dark times, your destiny was still unfolding, and God was at work, orchestrating every detail for this moment. When God seals your destiny, it's not just a declaration, it's a divine action. It's not as simple as saying, you are meant for something, and then leaving it to chance. It's God actively involved in your life, ensuring that the pieces of your journey fall into place. And this divine orchestration began long before you even realized it. You may have faced hardship, but those moments were never meant to destroy you. They were never meant to break you. Instead, they were part of your training ground, preparing you for what was ahead, for the bigger purpose that was always part of your plan. Think back to times when life threw curveballs your way. Maybe you were faced with an unexpected loss, a moment of failure, or a deep betrayal. At the time, it might have felt like the world was against you, like things were falling apart. But what if those very experiences were God's way of teaching you, refining you, and strengthening you for the journey ahead? The greatest testimonies often come from the deepest struggles. The most profound revelations arise from the moments when you feel most challenged. These were not random events. They were all part of the divine preparation for your destiny. There's a powerful moment in the Bible that speaks to this idea, the story of Jeremiah. In Jeremiah 1 verse 5, God tells him, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." This was not just a statement about Jeremiah's calling. It was a declaration of God's active involvement in his life before he even took his first breath. God knew him before he was born. God had a plan for him, a purpose that was sealed before his journey even began. And this is true for you too. Your purpose was sealed long before you even realized it. Before you were born, before you took your first step or spoke your first word, God knew you. Your life, your journey, your destiny. These were all part of a greater design. This truth is both empowering and humbling. The fact that your destiny was sealed by God means that everything you've gone through, everything you will go through, is part of a grand divine design. It's not about chance or luck. It's about purpose. Your life has a direction, and even if you can't always see it clearly, God's will is being carried out in your life, step by step. Now, Consider the power and significance of knowing that your destiny is sealed. When you recognize this, it changes everything. It shifts your perspective. It empowers you to move forward with confidence, even when things don't seem clear. You begin to trust that no matter what comes your way, it is part of the bigger picture. And when you trust that your destiny is sealed, you can begin to let go of the fear and doubt that often cloud your vision. You don't have to control every outcome. You don't have to make everything happen on your own. Your journey has already been written, and all you need to do is trust in the process. Think of the people in your life who have been part of your journey. Each one of them, whether they brought joy or pain, has played a role in your divine design. Your family, your friends, even your enemies, all of them have been part of God's plan for you. The connections you've made, the lessons you've learned, the people you've encountered, they are all part of the greater story that God is unfolding in your life. In the book of Esther, we see a powerful example of divine destiny. Esther, a young woman living in Persia, was chosen by God to be queen, not just for her own sake, but for a higher purpose, to save the Jewish people from destruction. Her path was not an accident. Every part of her life, from her upbringing to her royal position, was part of a grand plan. Even when it seemed like she had no power or influence, Esther's destiny was sealed, and God used her in a mighty way to fulfill his purpose. Like Esther, your life is not random. Your moments of seeming insignificance, your moments of doubt, have all been leading you towards something greater. You may not always understand why things happen the way they do, but remember this: God is weaving your story, and it is a beautiful tapestry of purpose. As you reflect on your life, think about the challenges you faced, the losses, the heartaches, the setbacks. It's easy to view these as obstacles, but what if they were opportunities? What if those moments were meant to build your character, to teach you how to trust, to prepare you for what's ahead? In Philippians 1 verse 6, Paul writes, "Being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus." Your journey is far from over. The work God has begun in you is still unfolding, and it will come to completion at the right time. Your destiny is sealed, not just in the sense that it's set in stone, but in the sense that it is unchangeable and unshakable. Nothing can derail the divine purpose that God has for you. You may have moments of doubt, moments when you question your path, but those moments don't define you. What defines you is the truth that God has already set the course for your life. You were chosen for something greater, something that no one can take away from you. So, what does it feel like to know that your destiny is already written? It feels like freedom. It feels like peace. It feels like finally letting go of the pressure to control everything and trusting that God is leading you to where you need to be. When you realize that your destiny is sealed, it frees you to embrace the present, to walk with purpose, and to trust that the future will unfold exactly as it should. This is the moment when you step into your divine purpose, knowing that every step you take is part of a greater plan. Your destiny is sealed by God, and nothing can change that. Hold on to this truth as you move forward, for it is the foundation upon which you will build your future. Comment "sealed" if this resonates with you. What does it feel like to know that your destiny is already written? Hold on to that feeling, because we're just getting started. One of the most significant aspects of being chosen by God is recognizing his voice in your life. It's not always as dramatic as a booming voice from the heavens. No, sometimes it's much quieter, subtler, a whisper in the depths of your soul. It's the soft but unmistakable nudge that guides you in ways that words alone cannot describe. This voice doesn't demand attention with thunderous force. It speaks in a language that transcends the ordinary, calling you to a purpose far beyond yourself. Yet, it is in this gentle whisper that you begin to hear the divine orchestration of your life. Have you ever experienced a sudden shift in your heart or mind? A feeling that something is true even when you can't quite explain why. Perhaps it came during a quiet moment, or when you were lost in thought. Maybe it happened as you walked through a difficult time, when the weight of life seemed unbearable, and yet, in the stillness of your heart, You knew something was guiding you. That deep, inner knowing is often God's voice, urging you to move in a certain direction or to take that next step toward your destiny. It's that sensation of alignment, as though all the pieces of your life are suddenly clicking into place, even when nothing else seems to make sense. In 1 Kings 19 verses 11 to 13, we learn about the prophet Elijah, who found himself in a desperate moment, alone and uncertain of his future. He had been running from threats to his life and, like many of us, was seeking answers. He went to a mountain, hoping to find guidance. In the dramatic context of the world around him, he witnessed powerful forces, a mighty wind, an earthquake, and a fire. Yet God's voice was not in any of these. Instead, it came as a gentle whisper. This whisper was not forceful, not demanding. It didn't compete with the dramatic events around Elijah, but it was unmistakable. It reached deep into his spirit, cutting through the noise and chaos. That whisper was a voice of God, speaking to Elijah in his quietest moment, in the silence between the storms. And just as God spoke to Elijah in this quiet way, he speaks to you too. You may not always recognize it at first, but that voice is always there. It may come to you in the quiet moments of your day, when you pause for a second to reflect, or when you're alone with your thoughts. It may be a fleeting thought or a sudden clarity that brings you peace when all else seems uncertain. Maybe it's when you're sitting in nature, surrounded by the calm of the world, and something shifts in your heart. That moment when you stop and know, deep down, that you are being called. God is not distant or disconnected from you. He is ever present, reaching into your heart with his guidance. It can be challenging at times to discern his voice from the many voices that compete for your attention in the world. There are so many distractions, thoughts of doubt, fears, and the noise of daily life, that it can be hard to hear that gentle whisper. But the truth is, the more you listen, the clearer it becomes. It requires a certain kind of stillness, a surrendering of the mind and spirit to recognize the divine guidance that has always been there. Just like Elijah, you might find that the voice of God doesn't shout over the noise of your life. Instead, it gently calls you in the moments when you are open to receiving it. Consider this. How often do you sit in stillness, free from distractions, allowing your heart to truly listen? We live in a fast-paced world, always on the go, constantly plugged into something. But God's voice often comes in the quiet moments. The moments when you take a step back, when you pause, when you breathe deeply and allow the stillness to surround you. In these moments, you make space for that voice to be heard, and it is then that God can begin to lead you more clearly on your path. Think about those moments in your life when you've made decisions that seem to come from deep within you, even though they didn't fully make sense on the surface. You might have decided to change directions, start something new, or trust a process you couldn't fully understand at the time. But looking back, you realize those were the moments when God's whisper was guiding you, even when you didn't have all the answers. That's how he works, gently and powerfully all at once. Take, for example, the story of the Apostle Paul in the New Testament. Before he became a follower of Christ, Paul was known as Saul, a man who persecuted Christians. But one day, while he was on the road to Damascus, God spoke to him in a way that left him completely transformed. Saul heard a voice, one that spoke directly to him. But it wasn't just the words that changed him. It was the experience of hearing God call him out of darkness and into light. That moment altered the entire trajectory of his life. But before that defining moment, Saul had to be willing to listen to the quiet voice that was urging him towards something greater, even when he didn't know what it was. God doesn't always call us in the loudest way. His voice doesn't always come in a burning bush or a parting sea. Instead, it often comes as a gentle nudge, an intuition, a moment of clarity in the midst of confusion. It's a voice that doesn't demand your attention, but instead beckons you softly to trust, to follow, and to believe in the divine plan he has set before you. It's in these moments that you begin to understand the depth of your calling, the divine purpose that has been written for you long before you were even born. This divine guidance may not always be clear at first, You may doubt whether you're truly hearing God's voice or if it's just your own thoughts. But trust me when I say this. If you open your heart, if you listen with an intention to hear, you will begin to recognize His whispers. The more you listen, the clearer His voice will become. It may come in a word of encouragement from a friend or a song that resonates deeply in your spirit. It may come through a moment of prayer when you feel a peace that surpasses understanding. Or it may come in the most unexpected ways, through a book, a conversation, or even a dream. The key to recognizing God's voice is not in expecting the extraordinary, but in being open to the subtle ways He speaks to you. It's in the moments when you surrender your own plans and trust that He is guiding you. You may not see the full picture right away, but as you take one step after another, you will start to see the path unfold. You are not walking this journey alone. God is with you, guiding you, whispering His truth into your spirit every step of the way. Think back to the times in your life when you felt unsure, when you've questioned your purpose. Maybe you've asked yourself if you're on the right path. But as you listen to the quiet whispers of God, you'll begin to notice the signs. They won't be loud, they won't be overwhelming, but they will be unmistakable. In your daily life, in the moments of quiet reflection, and even in the stillness of your heart, God is speaking. His voice may be gentle, but it is filled with power. It is guiding you toward the destiny that has always been yours. Have you ever heard that soft voice inside you urging you to take the next step, even when the road ahead seems unclear? That's God's whisper. And if you've ever felt it, you're already on the right path. Trust in it. Allow it to guide you as you continue forward. You are not alone on this journey. God's voice is there, always with you, ready to lead you to your divine purpose. Comment whisper if you've ever heard that voice calling you to move forward, even when you didn't know exactly where it would lead. Keep listening, because the next revelation will bring you even closer to understanding the full magnitude of God's guidance in your life. By now, you've learned that your destiny is sealed and that God's voice is speaking to you. But there's more to uncover. You may have already experienced some signs, but how do you know if you're truly chosen? Are you ready for the truth? Stay tuned, because what I'm about to share will open your eyes to the undeniable confirmations of your divine purpose. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video, and if you feel moved, hit the super thanks button to support this journey. There are signs, chosen one, real, undeniable signs that God has chosen you for something greater, something more than you could have ever imagined. These signs may not be immediately recognizable or easily understood, but they are always present, guiding you, nudging you forward toward your destiny. You've likely experienced them already. The way people cross your path at just the right moment, the sudden bursts of clarity in the midst of confusion, or the unshakable feeling that your life has always been leading to this point. And let me tell you this, these are not coincidences. These are divine signs, unmistakable evidence that God is preparing you for something extraordinary, something that will transform not only your life, but the lives of those around you. Have you ever felt like certain events in your life were just too perfectly timed to be mere coincidence? Maybe you ran into someone at a coffee shop who gave you the exact advice you needed to hear. Or perhaps you stumbled upon a book, article, or video at a time when you were searching for answers. These moments may seem small, insignificant even, but they are the fingerprints of God, reminding you that you are not alone, that your journey is unfolding according to a divine plan. Every encounter, every choice, every twist and turn of your path has led you to where you are today. It's no accident. Think back to times in your life when you felt a surge of clarity, when, despite all the confusion around you, a sudden understanding washed over you. Maybe it was in the middle of a conversation, or perhaps in a quiet moment of reflection. Maybe it happened after a particularly challenging time, when everything seemed unclear, and then, out of nowhere, the fog lifted, and you knew exactly what you needed to do. These bursts of clarity are signs that God is speaking to you, guiding you, opening your eyes to the truth of your path. They are the moments when the divine plan is revealed just enough for you to take the next step forward. In the Bible, We see countless examples of people being called by God through signs, many of which seem mysterious or even impossible at the time. Think of Moses, for instance, who encountered God through a burning bush. To anyone else, this would have been a strange and inexplicable sight, but to Moses, it was a divine sign, a clear and undeniable message that he had been chosen for something greater. God used this dramatic event to speak directly to Moses, guiding him toward his destiny as the leader of the Israelites. Moses had no idea at the time what lay ahead, but he had faith that the signs were leading him exactly where he needed to be. The same is true for the apostles. These men were ordinary people, living ordinary lives, until they encountered Jesus and received their divine calling. They were called to spread God's message to the world, and they did so with unwavering faith, even when faced with incredible challenges. Their journey was full of signs, miracles, divine interventions, and moments of clarity that confirmed they were on the right path. Like them, you too have been called, and the signs of your calling are all around you, waiting for you to recognize them. It's easy to doubt or question these signs. After all, life can sometimes feel overwhelming, and it's hard to see the bigger picture when you're in the midst of the chaos. But trust me, chosen one, these signs are there, woven into the fabric of your life. They are the moments when everything falls into place, when things align perfectly, and you feel that deep sense of peace, even when the world around you is in turmoil. These are the moments when God is making His presence known, reminding you that you are walking in His purpose. You may have noticed that sometimes things just seem to work out in a way that's hard to explain. Opportunities come your way at just the right time, doors open when you least expect them, and people show up in your life who seem to offer exactly what you need. These synchronicities are not random. They are signs that God is at work in your life. They are reminders that you are not alone in this journey, that God is actively guiding you toward the destiny He has planned for you. It's important to understand that these signs are not just about the big moments, the dramatic encounters, or the powerful revelations. They are also present in the smaller, quieter moments. Those moments when you feel at peace despite the chaos, when your heart is calm even in the midst of a storm. These are signs of your chosen status, evidence that God is with you, guiding you, even when you don't fully understand the direction. There is a sense of knowing that, despite the ups and downs of life, you are exactly where you are supposed to be. Consider the story of Gideon in the Bible. In Judges 6, Gideon was hesitant, unsure if God had truly called him to lead the Israelites. He asked for signs and God answered. The famous fleece test, where Gideon asked God to make a fleece while keeping the ground dry, is a powerful example of how God communicates through signs. But even in that moment of doubt, God didn't abandon Gideon. He met him where he was, showing him that his calling was real and that he had a divine purpose. Like Gideon, you may find yourself questioning the signs or wondering if you're truly hearing God's call, but know this: He will never leave you without confirmation. He will show you the signs you need to continue your journey. The signs that God has chosen you are not always loud or obvious. They are often subtle, soft nudges that guide you on your path. Maybe you've had moments when you felt like something was being revealed to you in a quiet, unassuming way. You might not have had a burning bush experience, but you've had your own moments of clarity, moments when things clicked into place. These are the signs that God is speaking to you, guiding you, confirming that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. But these signs are not just about confirmation. They are about preparation. Each sign, each nudge, is a piece of the puzzle that helps you step into your higher calling. The more you pay attention to these signs, the more you will begin to see how they are all leading you towards something greater. They are like breadcrumbs, left by God to guide you on your journey, each one bringing you closer to the truth of who you are and why you were chosen. As you move forward, you will begin to see the bigger picture, and everything will start to make sense. The reality is, your life has always been full of signs pointing to your calling. From the people you meet to the experiences you have, every detail is part of God's divine plan for you. The more you recognize and embrace these signs, the more you will understand your true purpose. And once you realize the depth of your calling, you will walk forward with a newfound sense of confidence, knowing that you are being guided every step of the way. God's signs are not just for you to notice. They are for you to act on. They are invitations to move forward in faith, to trust that God is leading you exactly where you need to be. These signs are meant to empower you, to remind you that you are not walking this path alone. The divine guidance you receive through these signs is a gift, and it's up to you to embrace it fully. If you've ever felt these signs in your life, felt that subtle nudge or that moment of clarity, comment chosen below. These signs are your invitation to trust in the divine plan for your life. And as you continue forward, remember that every sign, every encounter, and every moment of clarity is a step closer to fulfilling the purpose you were born for. The next revelation will give you even more confidence to trust in this divine plan. So stay with me, trusting God's plan for your future. Trust is everything. Trusting in God's plan is the very foundation upon which your destiny is built. A cornerstone that holds your life together even when the road ahead seems shrouded in uncertainty and doubt. In moments when you stand at the crossroads of your existence and the future appears as an endless, uncharted wilderness, it is natural to feel hesitant, even overwhelmed by the unknown. Yet, it is precisely in these moments of vulnerability that you are called to hold onto your faith with unwavering determination, for it is through that trust that you begin to glimpse the intricate design of your life, a design meticulously woven by a divine hand that has known your journey long before you even took your first breath. Imagine for a moment, standing on the edge of a vast cliff, the wind whipping past you as you peer into an uncertain horizon. The drop seems terrifying, the way forward unclear, and yet there is a soft, inner voice urging you to take a step, to leap into the embrace of a destiny that is already written. This leap of faith is not a reckless plunge into the unknown, but rather a courageous act of surrender, a declaration that you believe in the perfect orchestration of your life, even when you cannot see every detail of the path ahead. In the quiet moments of your day, when the clamor of the world subsides and you are left alone with your thoughts, you might find yourself reflecting on past struggles and the painful setbacks that once seemed insurmountable. It is in these moments that the beauty of trusting God's plan becomes evident. Every challenge you have faced, every hardship that once brought you to your knees, was not a mark of failure or mere misfortune, but rather a deliberate part of a grand design that is shaping you into the person you are destined to be. Think of it as a vast, intricate tapestry in which every thread, whether dark or light, is woven together to create a picture that is far more magnificent than any single strand could ever reveal. The moments of despair, the nights filled with uncertainty, and the days when hope seemed distant are all essential pieces of the puzzle. They serve to build your character, to deepen your compassion, and to prepare you for the abundant future that lies ahead, a future that is filled with promise and purpose. If you are ready to step into your future with faith and confidence, to let go of the need for every answer and embrace the mystery of God's perfect plan, then know that you are stepping into a legacy of trust that transcends time. Your journey, with all its twists and turns, is a testament to the power of faith, a faith that transforms uncertainty into hope, chaos into order, and fear into strength. Trust in the promise that your life is unfolding exactly as it should, and let that trust be the force that propels you into a future filled with divine purpose and extraordinary possibility. Comment trust if you are ready to embrace this journey with a heart full of faith, knowing that the most powerful revelations are still waiting just beyond the horizon. We've come so far, chosen one, and now it's time to step into your role fully. The final revelation will bring everything together, and you'll finally understand how to embrace your destiny with full confidence. Stay with me until the end, because this last piece of the puzzle will change everything. Embracing your role as a chosen one. Now that you have seen the signs, received the guidance, and embraced the trust in God's plan for your life, it's time to take the next bold step, fully embracing your role as a chosen one. This moment, the very moment you are in right now, is where everything begins to align. All that you have learned, all the wisdom you've gained, has been leading you to this point. God has prepared you for this very moment, for this very season in your life. You may not have recognized it before, but now, as the pieces of your life begin to fit together, you see it clearly. You are here for a reason. Your divine purpose is unfolding, and it's time for you to step into your power. God's plan for you has always been far grander than just your personal journey. It's not only about your experiences, your growth, or your transformation. It's about the impact you are meant to have on the world. You may have been wondering, perhaps even doubting, how you fit into the grand scheme of things. It's easy to feel like your individual existence doesn't matter in the greater expanse of the universe. But know this: your life, your gifts, and your journey are all part of a much bigger purpose, one that extends beyond your own understanding and touches the lives of others in ways you might not even realize. The world needs what you have to offer. Your unique perspective, your divine talents, and your personal experiences are all the tools that God has given you to make a difference. Chosen one, your destiny is sealed, and God has been speaking to you all along. Now it's time to act. Trust in His plan, embrace your divine role, and watch as your life unfolds in ways you never imagined. If this message resonates with you, comment "I am chosen" below, and let the world know that you are ready to walk this path with confidence. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more messages that will guide you on your journey. You were born for this.